This is Embrace Your Inner Boldness, a podcast about remembering who you were before the world told you who to be. I'm Melissa Henning-Frank, coach, guide, and founder of Becoming Bold. I help you strip away the conditioning, reclaim your voice, and rise into the power that's always been yours. Let's get right to it. Hey, thanks for tuning in. And if this is your first time here, I'm really glad you found your way in. And if you've been around for a bit, I'm grateful that you keep coming back. I don't get to know who is listening. If there's a way to know that, I certainly haven't figured it out. But I do see the general area where you're tuning in from. So hello to those of you in Wisconsin, Michigan, Illinois, North Carolina, Iowa, Massachusetts, Virginia, Texas, California, Georgia, Minnesota, and that's just the US. So greetings to those of you listening in from Indonesia, Finland, Singapore, Australia, Israel, Sweden, Germany, Russia, and Korea. I'd love to hear from all of you. And if there's a specific topic that piqued your interest and you want to know more about it, send me a message. Also, if you aren't on my email list yet, you're missing out on a full library of free personal and professional development resources. Things like journal prompts, worksheets for your own growth, your team's growth, your growth as a leader, and voice recordings to give you leadership tips or just a boost in your day. And again, I'm so glad you're here, and I hope you stay. Now let's get into an episode that might ruffle some feathers, and truthfully, it's needed. Today's episode is one I've been carrying around in my mind for a while, and in my heart, because there's something that keeps happening in my work. It comes up in coaching sessions, it comes up in workshops, in consultations, in my DMs. People tell me things. They tell me things they haven't told their boss. They tell me things they haven't told HR. Sometimes they tell me things they haven't even said out loud yet. And this isn't new for me. I've always kind of been this person, so even when I barely know someone, they'd start telling me about their marriage, their fears, their burnout, their secret dream, the thing that they're scared to admit that isn't working anymore. I don't know if it's my energy or just that I'm not trying to fix them, but people feel safe opening up to me. And because of the work I do now, I've become a collector of stories. Not names, not specifics, but common themes and patterns. And today I want to share some of those themes with you. I'm not doing this to call leaders out, but to let you in, because these are the things that your employees probably won't tell you directly, even if you think they would. Even if you think you're approachable. Even if you genuinely care. It's human nature, and it's not a bad reflection on you, and I'm going to tell you more about that. Now, you might be thinking, no, I know for sure my people tell me everything. I guarantee you they're not. So let's start here. You are an authority figure. Even if you're kind, even if you're collaborative, even if you say, my door is always open. Power changes how comfortable people are and the level of honesty they're willing to get to. People don't tell their boss everything because there's risk involved. There's risk to their job. There's risk to their reputation, risk to future opportunities. So what do? They soften it. They downplay it. They edit themselves. Think about it from your own experience. If you were only about 60% happy in a job, which, by the way, is actually pretty high, would you tell your boss the full truth? Or would you say, things are fine, busy, you know how it is? Most people inflate how okay they are because most of the time the work is fine, but inside they're tired, they're stretched thin, they're doing too much of what drains them and not enough of what lights them up. And they don't quite know how to explain that without sounding ungrateful. You might be wondering what they're actually telling me, and I can't give you the specific details, but here's what people in general are saying when they feel safe enough to say it. They say things like, I act like it doesn't bother me, but it really does. how they're spoken to on the shop floor and in team meetings, how feedback is delivered, or should I say, the frequent criticism without very many comments on what they're doing right, how their time is treated, and how it feels when you cancel meetings frequently with no explanation, how their effort is assumed as opposed to truly understood because everyone's too busy to actually see each other. These aren't dramatic moments or loud moments. It's more like little micro moments that happen just about every day, and those add up over time. Maybe it's an email tone, a meeting where their idea goes unnoticed, a joke that makes them uncomfortable, a leader who's always rushing and never really present. Little things that stack up into something heavy. They tell me that they don't feel seen as a human. They tell me that they don't feel safe being honest, and it's not so much that someone has threatened them, it's more that in the past, honesty was held against them. They tell me recruiters are in their inbox, and if they're not feeling safe, seen, and supported at work, it makes them feel good to be noticed and wanted, even if they're not desperate to leave. Yet. At first, it's curiosity, then it's comparison, then it's temptation. And every day they stay in an environment where they don't feel supported, they get a little bit closer to taking that bait. You might be wondering what safe, seen, and supported actually means. These words get used a lot, but here's what people mean when they say they don't feel safe, seen, or supported. Safe means I can tell the truth and be myself without it being held against me. Seen means the work I do, the ideas I have, and my humanity are acknowledged and noticed. Supported means I'm not carrying everything alone and my boss has my back. And here's the part that leaders often miss. People are watching your micro behaviors. Oh, yes, they are. How you respond when someone pushes back. How you react when someone makes a mistake. Whether curiosity or defensiveness shows up first. Whether you slow down or barrel through. Your team learns very quickly what's welcome and what's risky. Another thing people tell me, they're exhausted. They're not just tired, they're soul tired. They're working too much. They're always on. They're doing okay at work, but then they feel empty everywhere else. They feel sad, and they don't quite know why. They can't put their finger on it. And usually when we peel that back, it's because something is tugging at them. It's a desire to create, to contribute differently, to live more aligned with who they actually are. And when a job takes all of their energy and leaves no room for that creativity, resentment starts to build, even if they don't know what to call it. That feeling of dread on a Sunday night, the constant pursuit of Friday 5 o'clock. You can only ignore that for so long. Eventually, one of two things happens. They leave or their body intervenes, and that shows up as illness, chronic stress, exhaustion, apathy. All of those are signals. It's the body pushing back against a way of living that isn't sustainable. You might be wondering why no one taught you this. Here's where I want to pause and say this clearly. You were probably never taught how to lead the whole person. If you studied leadership, business, or HR, you were taught how to run a business with people, or more accurately, through people. Efficiency, productivity, performance, quality. Very little to nothing about purpose, energy, identity. And now we're seeing the consequences of that gap. If we don't figure out how to address this, the next 10 to 20 years are going to be filled with compounded problems around retention, engagement, and attraction. And before you jump to conclusions, it's not because people don't want to work, it's because they don't want to disappear inside their work. You might be wondering what leaders can actually do. And this is the part where I don't want to overwhelm you. These are not massive overhauls, they're human shifts. So start by asking better questions. Not, are you happy? But what part of your work gives you energy right now? What part drains you more than it should? Where do you feel underutilized? Help people see how their work affects real humans, not just metrics. Create room for identity. Invite people to bring their strengths and interests into how the work gets done. Respect energy. Stop glorifying burnout. You're not cool because you were in the office for 12 hours today. Normalize rest. Protect boundaries. Acknowledge that you are an authority figure. Silence from your people doesn't mean everything is fine. Pay attention to the small moments because trust is built or broken there. Support experimentation. Give people space to explore growth without feeling like they have to escape to do it. And most importantly, say what needs to be said, especially when times are tough. A simple, "You don't have to pretend this doesn't affect you," to your employees can help soften their nervous system. That sentence changes things. You don't have to pretend this doesn't affect you. Do you feel what that can do? People don't expect their leader to be perfect, and in fact, they want to know that their leader is human too. But they want you to be present, not rushed. They want leaders who understand that purpose is not a luxury. It's fuel for them, and they desperately need that now. And when people feel safe, seen, and supported, they don't need to be tempted by every recruiter in their inbox. They stay, they contribute, they care. If this episode made you uncomfortable, that's okay. Discomfort is often the doorway to better leadership. And if you're someone who feels like you've been quietly carrying all of this inside your job, I see you. You're not making it up in your head. You're responding to something real, and I guarantee you're not the only one feeling this way. Thanks for being here. And until next time, please be kind to your mind. That's it for today's episode of Embrace Your Inner Boldness. If this stirred something in you, don't let it fade. Screenshot this episode, tag me at Becoming Bold LLC, and share it with someone else who's ready to rise. And hey, if you haven't already, take a second to subscribe, rate, and review the show. That's how we spread the boldness and keep this movement growing. Whatever came up for you today, feel the fear and do it anyway. You don't need to wait for perfect timing or permission. You are powerful. You are ready. And remember, the only limit to your boldness is the one you set for yourself. Until next time, stay bold, stay curious, and keep becoming you.